You chill? All right, chill. Are you recording already?
Yes, sir.
You son of a bitch! I told you to stop doing that. What's up, guys? It's Nick Cutler, personal trainer right here at Full Spectrum Fitness in Crown Point, the mecca of the Midwest, and we're here today with another episode of Cutler's Corner and Cutler's Supplement Review. And today, God rest his soul, we've got Rich Piana's 5% Nutrition, Kill It, Reloaded on deck. And joining me today is NPC heavyweight bodybuilder competitor,
How's it going,
Brandon
guys?
Pappy. That's Pappy. Like you would call your grandpa, Pappy. That's what we call him, Brandon Pappy.
No,
When was
it's Popoy.
But Pappy.
But we'll let him say Pappy.
Absolutely. Okay, nobody can call him Pappy, but
Besides Nick.
that's right, just me. When was the last time you competed?
Last year.
July.
July of 2019 then.
Yep,
Okay,
this
so what
year.
show was that?
The Wings of Strength, wasn't it? The NPC Chicago Wings of Strength Pro-Am show. That's what I did. I got like 5th place in. I don't know my damn placings. It's been so long.
5th? But
I'm nationally qualified for next year. I know that because I got first place. I got first place in novice for bodybuilding. I got 2nd place in open, and then I got 5th place in classic.
And this is his first bodybuilding show that he did. So what that means is he's damn good at what he does. And today we're going to take what he does and we're going to throw a monkey wrench in, because today he's going to do what I tell him to do, which is always very, very good when you mix training styles. What's your typical training style?
My training style is progressive overload, so I'm tracking my numbers weekly. So it's always heavy resistance training. I'll start like 1 set, 5 reps, next set, keep going until I fail, but then I stop at that number, and then the next week I start at that number, so that way I know I'm going to increase.
Progressive overload. And we've talked about progressive overload before, which I'm a huge believer in, but I think that, yes, but I also think that progressive overload can be achieved through various means. It doesn't necessarily need to be increasing your weight every week. Sometimes it can be increasing your reps every week. A lot of people have it in their head that progressive overload, you have to lift more weight every week, but they don't take into consideration, okay, well, what if one week I'm working out first thing in the morning, so I'm only going on 20 or 30 grams of carbohydrates, and the next week when I do that same workout, I'm training in the afternoon, and I've had 200 grams of carbohydrates in my system, and a lot more meals in my system, so I'm obviously going to be stronger at that workout than I was in the workout in the week prior. So I stick with the progressive overload method in the sense that you need to just overload the muscle and take it to failure, but I don't necessarily track my numbers per se as far as what I'm looking from week to week to week. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Again, differing training methods. And obviously we're both very good at what we do. Brandon's a nationally recognized competitor at this point. I have shown you guys through my social media the transformation that I've made with my own physique in the last year or two. And I am set to compete in 2020 in May in Chicago. But before we get started with this workout, which is going to be a volume back heavy bicep. So what I do with my training is I train every body part twice a week. But I split what I'm doing. So when I do a push-pull leg split, my first day will be heavy chest, moderate shoulders, and moderate triceps. So my chest is going to be 6 to 8 reps. My shoulders and triceps are going to be 10 to 12. But I still take everything to failure. My next pull day will be heavy back. So that's when I do my deadlifts, 6 to 8 reps on everything. I do my heavy rows, heavy everything. Biceps, I just fry them with 10 to 12 reps. And then I'll do legs. Now my legs, I just train heavy every single workout, but I split it between my quads and my hamstrings. So one of my leg days I'll train my hamstrings, and then I throw in my calves and core and everything on that day too. Then I'll do a day where I just do cardio, and then I start the split all over again, but then everything's flip-flopped. So I'll do heavy shoulders, heavy triceps, moderate chest, heavy biceps, moderate back, and then I'll train my quads and my hamstrings, whichever one I put with it. I will typically put my quads after my volume back exercises instead of after my deadlifts. That way I can squat heavier when I go through with that. But before we get started with that, we have to get some pre-workout in this, because we need those ingredients that are going to help us train harder, help us train longer, and increase our recovery in between sets. So let's get a close-up of that there supplement backs panel. Give me the Iggy once you've been able to see all of the ingredients, because we really messed up on the last one, Josh. We went too fast. Was that the Iggy? That little nod that you just did?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Iggy?
Yes, sir.
We have a love-hate relationship, me and the man behind the camera. You should see all the memes I have saved in my phone. He makes fun of me and stuff. So, what do we got? One scoop is a 17-gram scoop. We have 30 servings per container. Kill It Reloaded. What that means is it's the second Kill It formula. The first one, I've never done a review on it, I've never used it, but I did compare the two labels before I actually selected to get this one for the review, and the other one, needless to say, was garbage. This one is actually a pretty decent formula. So what do we got? Our NO blend, citrulline, 4 grams. It always comes up in every single supplement workout because citrulline or arginine should be in every single pre-workout that you use, preferably citrulline because it is far superior to arginine. Clinical dose, 4 to 6 grams. We're rocking 4 grams, so we've got a clinical dose. So we're gonna get awesome blood flow, which means awesome nutrient delivery to the muscle tissue, hence an awesome pump. Glycerol powder. Glycerol helps to incredibly enhance the pump. So if you've already got a pump angel like citrulline in it, and then you throw glycerol in there, it's gonna make it even more intense. The only thing that I don't like about the glycerol, what was that?
Skin splitting.
Skin splitting. you right out of a freaking supplement commercial. Skin splitting pumps, yes. The only thing I don't like about the glycerol, and you guys will see it when I take the lid off of the tub, is it is a very, very moist powder. So even with the moisturizing packets in the tub, they clump really, really bad and get really, really sticky. That is the only drawback that I don't like about it, but as far as how well it works, it's fantastic. Beta alanine, 2 grams. 2 to 4 gram clinical dose. We're rocking a clinical dose. That's going to blunt the buildup of lactic acid, prevent that burn from coming on so quickly, which means better recovery, better endurance, more reps, more sets, etc., etc., etc. Taurine, 2 grams. Awesome for that mental focus if we've got it in here with, there's no tyrosine. The taurine-tyrosine combo is like the 1-2 punch for mental focus. Now, granted, if you go down a little bit lower, I usually do these in order, but we do have huperzine, which is going to be amazing for mental focus, but it doesn't really have that synergistic effect with the taurine as tyrosine does. So when I see taurine, I like to see tyrosine. If I don't, it's kind of like, whatever. Norvaline is just an amino acid. Theanine, 100 milligrams. Theanine is an amino acid that actually has a calming effect on your system. You see it in a lot of sleep aids. We discussed this on the last video. Why would you put theanine, which can commonly be used as a calming effect in a sleep aid, into a pre-workout? For those people who are overly sensitive to caffeine, it helps to kind of counterbalance that effect. So you're still going to get that caffeine rush, but it's not going to give you a crash, so to speak. We already discussed the huperzine. We moved down a little bit. Creatine blend. Creatine anhydrous, 2 grams. Magnesium creatine, 400 milligrams. Creatine pyruvate, 100 milligrams. This is my biggest beef with this. So let's discuss creatine. Creatine is creatine. There is no differences between creatine monohydrate, creatine hydrochloride, creatine magna power, creatine whatever the hell your mama wants to call it. It all does the same thing. It increases the amount of ATP in your muscle tissue. ATP is going to be your muscle's energy sources. The only thing that changes is the delivery source. So your most basic creatine delivery is going to be monohydrate.
The best, in my opinion.
That's okay. I'm going to tell you why it's not the best.
Works for me.
Momentary. No, it might work for you. Just give me a second here. Monohydrate, which is going to be less water soluble. So absorption may be slightly delayed, which may cause the water retention because it just sits in your intestines and sits in your muscle tissue until it's completely dissolved. And since it's not very water soluble, that's what tends to give people that monohydrate bloat that they talk about. If you're trying to get big and you're trying to get strong and you're just trying to push as much weight as you possibly can, that monohydrate bloat isn't necessarily a bad thing because more water in your muscle tissue means glycogen. More glycogen means heavier weights that you're able to push. Problem is that monohydrate, number one, since it just sits in your intestines until it's absorbed, it can cause diuretic effect. So it can give you diarrhea, number one. Number two, some people are very, very sensitive to the bloat. So they'll literally take monohydrate and they just poof up like a water balloon. Or you can go to the opposite end of the spectrum and you can look at the most acidic form of creatine, which is going to be creatine hydrochloride. Since it is so acidic, it gets absorbed at 5 times the rate of monohydrate, and you don't need as high of a dose for it to be effective. Monohydrate, a clinical dose is going to be 5 grams pre-workout, 5 grams post-workout. Hydrochloride, you're looking at 2 grams pre-workout, 2 grams post-workout. So the idea to put different kinds of creatine into a formula other than monohydrate or hydrochloride is just stupid to me. Oh, well, we gotta, copyright it so people don't steal our formula and this and this and that. Fuck your formulas. Nobody can actually rip off your formula. If they do, sue them and you'll make a lot of money in court. Use monohydrate or use hydrochloride. There's absolutely no reason behind using these other weird different forms of creatine. It's just stupid. Stimulant blend, that's pretty self-explanatory. Caffeine, 267 milligrams. That's caffeine anhydrous, so 267 milligrams in your bloodstream right away. Caffeine citrate, 50 milligrams. I don't know what the citrate molecule is going to do for the delivery of the caffeine, but the dicaffeine malate, the Infinergy, is pretty wide known. That's going to be the time-released caffeine, so 50 milligrams. So total, you're looking at a 367 milligram dose of caffeine. You guys know by watching my previous videos, my maximum is typically 300 milligrams per dose that I can have throughout the day. But with only 267 of it being instant release, this actually doesn't bother me very bad because I've used it just so I knew the kind of effects that I could give you guys here. So, that is what I mean by the glycerol.
Interesting. I ain't never seen something like that.
Now, we already know that we always take the scoop out and we shake the powder. You know this, right?
Shake, shake, shake.
Shake, shake, shake. Because that caffeine is going to rise to the top. And you don't want to go through all the caffeine in the first few doses. So you see it kind of breaks it up.
Raw. That's what
but you're still going to see some of the clumps in there just from the glycerol powder. We got the blue raspberry flavor. Yes, guys, I'm mixing a 5% nutrition pre-workout and an MTS nutrition shaker cup because while I like 5% nutrition, I'm affiliated through MTS, so I still have to advertise them even when I'm not using their supplements.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bottoms up. Now, that is not overbearing at all. It is sweet enough to where you know you're tasting a pre-workout, but it's not so bleh as like I've got this filled up and I can still taste it. So I imagine that if you only mixed it with 8 to 10 ounces of water, the flavor would be even stronger. So I would say the flavor is definitely
like Kool-Aid. Blue Kool-Aid.
Exactly. But no sugar, obviously. So let's look at the other things that we look at when we talk about whether it's worth your bang for your buck. Now, I got this wholesale price because I work at a gym, so we actually distribute 5% nutrition here, so I only paid 20 bucks for that, and 20 bucks for the all-day UMA amino acid blend, which I drink during my training. Retail, you're looking at anywhere between $34 and $39.99. I believe the retail price I put on there was $39.99. So you're looking at 30 scoops for 40 bucks. I think it breaks down to about $1.60 a serving, which I say keep it under $2 a serving, and you're looking at a pretty good deal. So you're spending less than 40 bucks on a 30-day supply. You don't need to take 2 scoops of this at all, ever. So I would say the value is definitely there when it comes to the price. The value is definitely there when it comes to the taste. The ingredient profile, if I had to give it a rating out of 5, I would say probably a 3. Just because, again, the weird creatine blends that they're using. Look, if you're a supplement company and you're watching this, and I know that you don't give a damn what a future bodybuilder / current pro wrestler in a Ninja Turtle t-shirt thinks about your product, but just use monohydrate or use hydrochloride. I can use either or. I'm sure Brandon can use either or. Most people can use either or unless they have an extreme sensitivity to the monohydrate. Oh, damn.
Speaking of the devil.
Listen to how she talks to me on camera. It's rude. Ingredient profile, I would say 3 out of 5. A good dose of citrulline. It's got the glycerol powder. It's got a clinical dose. Ooh. I take back the mean things I just said about her a few seconds ago. But again, I'm bothered by the different kinds of creatine in there. Just use monohydrate or use hydrochloride. So overall, is this worth the bang for your buck as far as everything taken into consideration? Yeah, definitely. I'm a big believer in switching up your pre-workouts, not necessarily because you need to, because the ingredients stop working. Pre-workout ingredients do not stop working. What happens is you just develop a tolerance to the caffeine. And guess what? If you switch and you use a different pre-workout, they're gonna have the same caffeine in there as the one that you just switched off of. So just switch up your pre-workouts just because you want to try to do something different, you want to try a different flavor, you want to try a different ingredient profile, whatever. So if you wanted to throw this into your rotation, I would definitely give it a thumbs up. Again, rest in peace, Rich Piana. I'm glad they kept 5% nutrition going after his untimely passing. We are going to sip down the rest of this pre-workout, and then we're going to be back right here at Full Spectrum Fitness for the episode next week, which is going to be me putting Pappy and Jillian through the rounds of a volume back heavy bicep workout. So until next week, make sure you follow me on all forms of social media. That's going to be Nick Cutler on Facebook, Cutler Coalition on Twitter, Cutler Coalition 88 on Instagram, and CUTLER 8869 on Snapchat. Get all of your supplementation needs at my Tiger Fitness affiliate link located in the bio of all of my social media platforms, as well as in the information link on this YouTube video. Brandon, can you spit all of your social media info off that fast?
Oh Jesus, I don't even know if I can.
No?
I'm never on my.
Okay, give it a whirl. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Brandon _ Popboy, P-A-P-A-Y. That's my Instagram handle. Facebook, you can find me on Facebook, Brandon Popboy, P-A-P-A-Y. Snapchat, well, same thing, but there's a 24 after it on Snapchat. So if you guys catch me on that, feel free to add me.
All right, guys, until next time. Oh, merchandise, prowrestlingtees.com / Cutler Coalition. Brandon's not cool enough yet to have merchandise, but I'm sure at some point in time he will, so we'll get you that information as soon as he does. And until next time, stay Cutler strong.